Um, so a volunteer firefighter in Portchester, since we were talking about ICE, got grabbed up by ICE.
New video tonight of ICE agents swooping into a neighborhood in Westchester County and detaining a husband and father as he left the house for work. He's a volunteer firefighter and has lived in the community for decades. Tonight, Eyewitness News reporter Safan Kim with his family's fight to get him back.
The tears rolling down Rosa Chagui's face, bursting through the floodgate that is now her broken heart. Since she was 15 years old in Ecuador, she and her husband were inseparable until ICE agents detained him last week as he left his house in Portchester, headed to work. With his hands cuffed behind his back, 43-year-old Milton Guamarigua can be seen yelling his wife's name, but Rosa never heard his cries. No idea at the time what was happening. Jocelyn admits her father crossed the border illegally when he was 15 years old, but she says in the almost 30 years since he's been here, he has never gotten into any trouble. She says he is not a violent.
Now, here's the problem with this story, brothers and sisters. He had a deportation order. He had several DWIs. The deportation order was 19 years. The deportation order was 19 years old. And he had a couple of DWIs. So they went into Portchester and they grabbed him. Now his family is pleading for all this stuff. They want him to come back, and the fire department union wants him to come back. And that's great. But here's the question. How did you become a volunteer firefighter and had a 19-year-old deportation order? Are you trying to tell me that the background check didn't come up with the deportation order? That's my biggest question. How did you become a volunteer firefighter? I don't know if anybody in the thread, do they know that does fire? I thought they was, even if you're a volunteer, they would do background checks. And if you knew about this problem and you was a volunteer firefighter, why didn't you ask the firefighters union or people or the mayor or in Portchester or anyone to help you with this situation, to fast track or to deal with the deportation order? I feel for the family, but I still have questions about how do you get a 19-year-old deportation order?
Yes, there's a background check is required. Part of the process to be a firefighter in Portchester, specifically applicants for firefighter positions in Portchester, which must successfully pass background investigation. This background check is part of a larger hiring process that typically includes written exam, blah blah blah. But
he was a volunteer. The question is, does that apply to volunteers also? And that's my question. I would assume if you're actually working the full time, you will have a background check. But if you're volunteering, do they have a background check?
If you want to be a volunteer firefighter in Portchester, you're required to undergo a background check.
Okay.
The background check is mandated by New York state law, aimed to identify any convictions, and if you're a sex offender and all those things.
Who dropped the ball? Who dropped the ball? Because it's reported he had a the deportation order, 19-year-old deportation order. That's what he got detained on.
Well, you knew you could get away with it. For a while, you just knew you could get away with it. He said, try walking around with unpaid parking tickets that long. Oh, no, not New York City. They was trying to get my car. They was trying to get my car for some unpaid parking tickets.
Listen, try not paying your Easy Pass. How about that one? Try not paying your Easy Pass and see what happened to you. She got caught in Niagara Falls. Wow.
I got caught. I had tickets from this organization I used to work with. They didn't pay the tickets. So I got a letter from then Mayor Giuliani's office letting me know if my car was parked even legally anywhere in New York City, if I went inside, expect not to see it when I came out.
Oh,
They
no,
were looking for
dude.
my car. No, I'm just saying they sent me a letter to my house letting me know they was coming for my car.
Dude, I owed tickets that I didn't even know I owed tickets.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I didn't know I owed because the company I worked for didn't pay. I was doing stuff for them, so they were supposed to pay the tickets. Told me they took care of it. They didn't take care of it, and I'm walking around thinking everything's all good. And
Yeah, man, they got me one time, bro.
They got an APB out on my car.
But yo, New York was getting out of hand because they was running up on people at red lights, taking them out their car.
Oh wow, yeah.
It really got out of hand. You know what I'm saying? So, but I don't know if they still do it now. I don't mess with New York City, and it looks like it's going to be even crazier soon. So I'm not even messing with New York, bro. But it has to be some self accountability, because when you hear these stories, it's like, oh well, I've been in America for 20 years. You've been in America for 20 years,
and you thought you were good,
and you didn't fill out to be a U.S. citizen. And you've been here 20 years. You done raised kids. They done went to college. They're grown and got kids. And now they're snatching you up and you crying. Peace, Brother Irwin. You know, that doesn't, there's some of this doesn't make any sense. And it leads ways into this other article that I went off before, but I'm just like, this whole thing, and people can get mad at me if they want to. People can be upset with what I'm about to say. But my philosophy is Black America first. It is what it is, right? When you get on the plane, what do they tell you to do before you help anybody else?
Put on your
Put
own,
the
put
mask
your MS on yourself first, before your
take,
elderly parent, before your child, because if you can't be any help of them if you're not good. So you got to take care of yourself first, then you can take care of everybody, your elderly parent, your child, anybody, your spouse, whoever.
Okay, so that's my philosophy with Black America first. We can't be any help to anybody else until we are actually a help with ourselves, economically, family, community, all the areas of all the areas of life. Well. It says you're a fool to think otherwise, brother. But that's not what's going on. that's not what's actually going on, and that's not what's actually going on with our politicians. That's not actually going on with our politicians. They're not fighting for us. They tell us that when they do something for us, it has to include everybody. That's what they tell us. We have to include. Well, here we go. Listen. I wasn't even going to talk about that. But they tell us we have to include everybody. I can't give you reparations. Why you can't give me reparations? What? Foundational Black Americans, we built this country for free. But what about the people that wasn't part of that? Well, we're not asking for money from the people part of that. We're asking from the government that put laws that made us 3/5 of a man, that made us slaves, that told us not to vote, Jim Crow, redlining. Those were government laws. We're not taking from anybody. We're holding the government accountable. Well, listen, we got to do something because they're not fighting for us. You see, and I'm not knocking. Listen, if y'all are on that immigrant thing, that's your thing. I'm not knocking you for that. But I see more people turn out in New York for immigrants than they do a child getting shot in the Bronx. Or the young boy that got shot getting off the bus in Queens.
Or bring it back home. A retired Marine in White Plains.
Exactly, but this is before the whole immigrant thing. This was going on around the immigrant thing. This was going on recently. So what I'm saying is, like, we see more outrage of elected officials we put in office that we vote for. But we don't see them having outrage on that. I personally have a problem with that. I literally had somebody put a comment on my post. It's illegal. This is what he told me. It's illegal to just pass laws for certain people. Really? Ask the Jews that. Ask the Chinese that. Ask the Japanese that. Why when we ask for something and we turn out 80 to 90% of our voting power goes to one party, 80 to 90%. And we get literally nothing. Our communities look the worst. If you give 80 to 90% of an effort into anything, it should flourish. Exactly, Erwin. And but we still vote for them. We still vote. Why do we still vote for them? And I'm not knocking anybody. Some people might be watching saying, yo, dude, this dude's going crazy. He's saying vote for Republicans. I'm not saying vote for Republicans. I'm saying we should have boundaries. We should set boundaries. A respectful person has boundaries.
We've been saying for a while, even before this whole Republican thing, we had to stop blindly giving our vote to the Democrats without getting anything for it. That's been a conversation that has been happening that predated all this Trump stuff and everything like that. As Black people, a lot of Black people, not every Black person, a lot of Black people blindly give their vote to the Democratic Party, and every other group of people makes the candidates come to them and tell them what they want. If they want their vote, these are the things that they want. We don't do that. We vote and then we come to them after they're in office looking for stuff, and we just blindly and get upset when we don't get it. We have to get something for our vote. Like, tell these people what we want, or we're not going to vote for them. We have to stop blindly voting for people, period. So that has been a conversation in that before this Trump thing and before, not telling people to vote Republican, tell people, these Democratic candidates, what you want and what they need to do if they want your vote, or you're not going to vote for them. And that's responsible politics, like every other group of people. That's not telling people to vote Republican. That is telling people to be more active with these candidates and don't just give away your votes.
Thanks for watching Black Westchester Magazine News, where the truth has no filter and the community comes first. We are the news with the Black point of view. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay informed, empowered, and engaged. Independent Black media matters. And we're just getting started. See you next time.